Very good morning to one and all present here. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, madam, it's audible.
Okay, sir. So once again, good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you all for this faculty development program, International Faculty Development Program. This is the fourth day session. So last 4 years successfully, last 3 days we have successfully completed these sessions. Today's our chief guest is Muthu Maharaja Selvaraj. I welcome you, sir. First, I have to introduce him. He has completed his master degree in MSc Software Engineering at Madurai Kamarajar University. Also, he has completed MBA in Indian Institute of Business Management and Studies in year 2011. He started his career in industry in 2007 as a ABAP consultant, Egypt. Then he started his uh, AB, ABAP AFS consultant. Then he became a SAP ABAP programmer. Then he is a SAP technical consultant. Then he became a SAP ABAP and a BA consultant. Then he became a SAP MD senior techno functional consultant. Now he is a SAP functional lead in US. Nearly has around 13 years of experience in SAP. So we are very glad to him at today's session. So he almost in 13 years, his foreign experience is nearly 9 years, more than 9 years in foreign experience. So then he worked as SAP consultant in India is more than 4 years. Nearly he has 13 years of experience in SAP. Also, he has the license and certification in SAP Certified Associated and Open SAP Certified Associated. So really very happy with him. So I welcome once again all for this day session. Sir, I welcome you, sir. Now the session is yours. You can start the session, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Excellent. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for your wonderful introduction. But I'm always your student. You don't have to call me sir and all. I'm always your student, Muthu. Just call me Muthu. That would be great. Let me present my screen. Please let me know if you see my screen here. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible. You can go ahead.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Respected professors, head of the departments, lecturers and professors from other colleges and universities. Namaste, Vanakkam, and a very good morning to you all. So today's session is going to be on ERP and SAP data analytics. So this is going to be your agenda for the day. We will see the benefits and limitations of this ERP applications. We'll see the data flow in ERP business process with a small interesting video. Then we'll go to the SAP data flow and we'll see, we'll take a small example of a product manufacturing process and we'll see how SAP is doing big success in there. And then we'll see a small overview on the software development lifecycle. And again, a small video demo on the SAP PLM applications called Product Lifecycle Management. And then we'll see what is big data and what is HANA with again a small video introduction. And then we'll go into SAP Cloud Analytics, and we'll see why SAP has such an intelligent enterprise applications. And we'll see a live demo of a small application as well too. So for the next 1 hour, you're going to be with me discussing this. My name is Muthu Maharaja Selvaraj. I'm an SAP ABAP MDG Master Data Consultant. I have 13 years of experience in implementing SAP applications for the Fortune 500 clients. And my experience starts with Indian companies like BGR, Polaris, HCL, and Cognizant. And then I moved to United States. And I started working as an SAP consultant for the following clients: Benjamin Moore, Cardinal, CSL, SAP America, and TCS America. And that is my SAP career. So since I started my career, I've been all into SAP applications and implementing projects for all these clients across the country. With that being said, let's go into the topic. So ERP, when we say ERP, it's enterprise resource planning. So we'll see how SAP ERP is a suite of integrated modules, which is used to collect, transact, and report the data from their day-to-day business activities. We'll see how ERP enables the flow of information between the different parts of the company and outside the stakeholders like customer suppliers and business partners. So ERP is an planning software. So SAP is not the only service provider, right? So we have so many ERP service providers in the market, but SAP is the #1 provider, and it takes the major stakeholdings of clients in the world. So SAP stands for System Application and Products for Data Processing. It's a German company which is started in 1972. Since then, SAP has been involved in all kind of ERP developments, R&Ds, and implementations across the world. We'll see what are the benefits and the limitations of SAP. So with that being said, there are many benefits of SAP. We can talk about a whole day, but let's see some of the top benefits of this SAP application. So SAP, the first point is SAP eliminate information silos. One example, let's take that there's a big company and that company has an ERP software, but it is not a one application suite. So they do reporting in another one application. They have their database sitting on another application. They have their native application running on another tool. So see how complex the landscape is and how complex the day-to-day operations will be. So SAP remove that information silos. It also automate the core business processes, like when the company runs on low stock, it automatically creates a stock stock orders. It facilitates better decision making, and of course, it prioritizes and securities, and the compliances are very strong in SAP. There are some limitations as well too. SAP is a kind of a high cost application. So there is a huge cost involving in implementing SAP in the companies, and the implementation time in SAP take at least a year to multi-year projects. With that being said, we'll see a small video about the ERP business process. So let's take an example of a garment manufacturing. So like how the process starts and how the garments are getting manufactured and how it's going to the customer's hand. Let's see this small video about that. All right, that was a nice video about from SAP about the ship to shop factory. So you will get a glimpse of the process now. So how the stakeholders meet, how the raw materials are getting imported to the company, and how the manufacturing started, and how the products are getting shipped over to across the various locations, and how it reaches the customers as a final product. So that is how an ERP basically works, right? So this is an example of a garment factory. Now let us see how this process is mapped into SAP. Uh, so we'll take an example of a product manufacturing company, whatever company it may be. Let's take that it's an car manufacturing company. So let's take that how a complete process between, I mean, from the start to beginning, the end-to-end process. We'll see how it is taking place in this product manufacturing process and how SAP is achieving that with detailed informations. So let us take that this is a company or a plant or industry, whatever we call. So there will be three main operations, right? So you will buy something, you will produce something, you will sell something. So these are all, I mean, when you see overall or from a high level perspective, this will be your major three operations in the company, correct? So when you see, when you buy something, so from whom you will buy that? So those people are called vendors. And when you sell something, from to whom you sell that, so those people are called customers. So these customers do not interact with the company, or these vendors do not interact with the company directly. There should be some mediators or a backup person who can or who act as a bridge between the company and the stakeholders, right? So for example, the vendors, they talk with the company with the GPO, which is called the group purchasing organizations. Similarly, the company don't talk directly to the customers, so they have a sales organization. So through that sales organization, so they interact with the customers and they do all their sales. So now let us see the hierarchy of the company side and also the purchasing and the sales side. So when you say a company, I'm talking about a very big enterprise. The company have multiple branches across the locations in the world, and they have so many plants or the manufacturing locations. So in those environments, a company can be formed or organized as a company, as a headquarters, and then they have so many company codes in each and every locations, and each and every company code can have a plant. A plant is generally where the production happens. So a company code can have multiple plants. Like, I mean, if you say, we take an example like the Hyundai manufacturing plant in Chennai. So that is called a plant, right? Where all the Hyundai cars are getting manufactured. So similarly, that's how the company, and they have their branches in other countries also. So this is how a company is organized. Now let's come to the vendor side. So when you say vendors, the company have a purchasing organization. So not all purchasing organizations will deal with, or not one purchasing organization will deal with all the vendors across the locations, right? So they have so many purchasing organizations, and under the purchasing organizations, they will have so many purchasing groups. Similarly, if you take the customer or the sales sides, this you would have analyzed here. So no companies directly come and sell their product to the customers. So they have sales org, they have sales area, they have distributors, they have sales office, sales persons like marketing agents and everything. So these are all the hierarchies or the classifications or how the company is structured in their selling process. So now let's see the process that happens between the company and how they buy the raw materials. So they buy raw materials and they sell the finished products, right? So let's see what will be the generic process across. Let's say that the company is buying or planning to buy some raw materials. So normally what they do for the first time, so we call generically tenders, right? So we will give tenders to the vendors. But that is called in SAP as a purchasing requisitions. So after the tender is being received from all the vendors, the company goes for the vendor selection process. So when the company select the vendor, they will issue the purchasing order to the vendor. So purchasing order is something that the company has been given a kind of confirmation order so that the vendor can start supplying goods to the company. So when the vendor gets the purchasing order, then the goods are getting delivered to the company. So when the goods are delivered, then the company has to pay the vendor with a goods receipt. Similarly, if you take the selling side, so normally the customers, they come and inquire, right? So that is the inquiry. So when somebody comes and inquire, the company has to respond with a quotation, and they give all the quotations, they give all the discounts and all the stuffs about their product that they're going to sell. And then if that quotation is being confirmed by the customer, I'm talking about the customer in the sense the sales org, not just an individual customer is going directly to buy. I mean, that is also same, but still consider that from the company perspective. So when they get the quotation and the quotation is confirmed, then they go and do or issue a sale order to the company. So when the order is confirmed, then the company has to deliver the finished product to the customers, right? So that is called shipping or order delivery. And when the customers get the order, uh, the customers have to pay the company. So that is called the billing or invoice. So this is typically how the procure to pay or the order to cash process works in the companies. Now let us come to the manufacturing side. So everything has a process, right? So the manufacturing process is not that simple as well. So each and every company work with two different orders. One is called, I mean, two styles of working, I will say. So one is called make to stock, and other one is make to order. Make to stock is something like, let's take a company that is being in the market for more than 10-15 years, and they have a very good brand, and they are the top brand in the industry. So they know what is their sales is going to be. So last year they have sold 3,000 cars, and the year before the last year they have sold around 3,200 cars. So their average selling for a particular month is going to be 3,000 cars. So they will set a stock alarm in their company that if the stock goes below some 50 to 60 cars, then they have to start the production. So that style of working companies are called the make to stock companies. And some companies, like, I mean, for example, consider this COVID situation. So no companies will keep their stock in their hand, right? So when the customer give only the sale order, then only the company go and they start the production. So those kind of working style companies called make to order companies. So when they get the order, they start the production. That's called make to order. So either way, when they work with either make to order or make to stock, the first process is they have to collect the bill of materials. Bill of materials is all the raw materials. Let's take, if a car is a finished product, the bill of materials of the car is going to be all the spare parts, the tires, the seats, the glasses, the paints, and everything. So all these are called as the bill of materials, and necessarily we call it a BOM. So when we collect the bill of materials, we have to export the BOM, which means, so for one car, we are having all this bill of materials. So if, my production for this month is to manufacture 300 cars. So what will be my BOM explosion? So there is a process called export, BOM explode, which will give you the list of all raw materials that you need to start the production of 300 cars in this month. And then when they get all the list, they go for availability checks, which means that they'll check for their current stock, whether they have stocks in their hand or they have to procure from the vendor. So if they don't have the availability, then they go for the vendor, and then they get the materials and they start the production. And then they do material requirement planning. And then once all is ready, then they issue a production order to the company, and then only the manufacturing starts. This is somehow the typical manufacturing process in the company. So let's take this all the sides, this goods delivery from the suppliers, shipping to the customers, and even the production in the manufacturing plant or the company. So everywhere there is a process chain, and there needs to be a storage management, right? So for example, the vendor sends raw materials to the company, so he needs to store that. The company sends finished goods to the customer. So till the cars are getting sold, they have to store the cars in some way. So they're done with the production, so they have to store the manufacturing cars somewhere. So everywhere they have to have some kind of storage management, right? So then comes the warehouse management concept in SAP, that how the goods are handled and how they do the handling, picking, packing, and storing techniques or works, how the storing techniques works for their products in the company. So this is not a one-time process, right? So this is going to be happen very frequent. So every time they cannot keep on doing this as a manual activity. So the companies, if they have to develop and they have to advance themselves, they have to keep modernize their process. So to automate this manufacturing, SAP have a module called advanced planning and optimization, where they determine the material cost, production cost, what are the vendor discounts, what are the labor costs, what are the GSTs they have to apply it, and what will be the storage cost. So everything will be calculated, and this process will automate, and that will give us a sell price of the car. Okay, this is going to be my car price, which I'm going to sell it to the customers. So everything is automated in SAP. Okay, so when we come to the vendor management also, so it is not one time that you are going to deal with the vendors, right? You will keep on having business with the vendors, and you will keep on having business with the customers. So you have to maintain their relationship with the vendors and the customers. So there comes the supplier relationship management and the customer relationship management. So there you'll learn about how you manage your vendors, how you discount the vendors. If vendors send some damaged products, how are you going to charge them, or how are you going to do the spoils and returns for them, and how the transportation between you and the vendors is going to happen. So these all things will be studied, and will be processed in the supplier relationship management module of SAP. And similarly, when you come to customers, customers are the very important assets for you, right? So you have to maintain your customers, and they have to give them good discounts, and you have to do a good support and maintenance to them, good service to them, and you have to keep getting positive surveys from them, right? So customer relationship management is also an important aspect. Now here comes the main part, the finance part, where the money plays. So SAP has a model for that as well. So when the vendors pay the goods receipt, so it means that the company have to pay the vendor, and in the billing or invoice, the company have to receive the money from the customers, and there is also some production cost involved. So there are accounts payable side, accounts receivable side, the profit centers, cost centers of the companies. So everywhere there is money involved, right? So that is being handled as a SAP finance module. And of course, people management, the human resource department also plays a main role. So they have to take care of their employees in the companies with good payroll. They have to have a good employee self-service tool, the manager self-service tool. They have to have performance reviews and appraisals. So all these things have to be implemented in a good HR tool. So for SAP is such a kind of integrated module which will take care of all this process in one application. So SAP is a kind of module-based application. So we call it as a functional modules and technical modules. So when we talk about the procurement to pay, SAP has a module called SAP MM, which is material management. When we talk about sales, we have SAP SD, sales and distribution. When we talk about production, we have SAP PP, the production planning. When we talk about the APO, the advanced planning and optimization for production automation, we have warehouse management for maintaining for maintaining your storages and everything. So similarly, we have so many modules like this in SAP which will do their job and which will integrate very nicely with all the applications. It is not that it is given only for only manufacturing industries. No, the one SAP application suite will go for travel industries, which will also go for banking and financial sector. It will also applicable for the retail and fashion industry. So everywhere for all industries, this one SAP application suite will be applicable. So now the main part. So everywhere you see, right, there is some data is flowing, right? So the data is flowing from vendors to company to subsidiaries. Everywhere there is data. So for example, when you say data, the data is of two types: master data and transactional data. So what is master data? So when you create a data, that data gets never changed. And transactional data is nothing but the data that keeps on changing. That is your day-to-day operations that you do. So if you see this picture, what will be the master data that you will say? Like you deal with a vendor. So when you get a new vendor, you have to store that vendor information. That is a vendor master. So when you deal with a new customer, you have to get the new customer details. So that is customer master. When you deal with new materials, whatever materials, right from your screws and drivers till the finished product of cars, everything is a material. So material is a master of the company. And similarly, when you take the finance part, company code, profit center, general ledger accounts, cost centers, everything is a master data for the company. And when you say transactional data, like whatever you do, the purchasing requisition, the sales order, quotation, so everything is a day-to-day transaction that is happening in the company. So everything is handled, and there will be a lot of data getting generated in the day-to-day process of the company, right? So now customization. So this, as I said, this is not the only industry that SAP is going to be applicable. So this can be applicable for all the industries. So there should be some kind of customizations, right? So then there comes the programming in SAP. So these guys are called as technical consultants. So though these guys will go and modify, they enhance the screen, they adjust the business process, which will be suited for their applications. So those kind of tools are called ABAP, Fiori, HTML, and UI5. So these are all some of the technical applications that we have in, I would say technical modules that we have in SAP. So now infrastructure. Let us take that this is not going to be a simple client-server architecture, right? It is SAP is now being into cloud. So there are so many storage locations, there are data centers and everything. So all this have to be maintained, right? So there is also a module called SAP Basis, which will take care of all the infrastructure and the hardware management in the company. So reporting, of course, reporting is going to be the major tool. So the top management needs everyday reporting, even every hour reporting is even there. I mean, they need to see the sales of each and every locations between every hour or every 6 hours or even every day, something like that. So everywhere there is a reporting, right? So SAP still, yes, SAP is giving a good reporting tool called SAP BO Crystal Report. So these are the tools that can integrate with SAP to provide a powerful reporting to the management. ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading. Let's take that we are moving an enterprise from other applications to SAP. So the data has to be transferred from the other application to SAP, right? Of course, SAP has a powerful tool there as well called Business Object Data Services, which will be used to extract and transformation and load the data into SAP. And governance, risk, and compliance. SAP is very good in that. Security has a very important role, right? So it is not that the vendor management can go and directly integrate with the customers. So everywhere there has to be some kind of barriers and some kind of security management, right? So SAP still has that. So there is a module called governance, risk, and compliance, which will take care of all these steps. Last but not least, HANA. So SAP has a tool or database called HANA. So we have a separate slide on that. So we'll see what is HANA and what does the new database look like and what is the power of HANA, like that. So if you see the whole picture, see how the integration flows from end to end, how the process starts and how a complete process ends, who are all the people involved, what are all the resources there, how the resources are planned, and how they are modified. So that is the power of SAP, and how that's the power of integration and how it is maintained. So that's the SAP process all about. So now we will see what is this. We'll not deep dive into this software development lifecycle, but just to talk about it, we would have studied the software development lifecycle as a waterfall model, the classical approach. Like we start from documentation, requirement collection, implementation, testing, and validation. That's the classical approach in the waterfall model, right? Or else we'll go for the agile methodology. So similarly, SAP has their own way of working called the product lifecycle management. Now, I'm again bringing that picture, but not the whole process. Let us take the manufacturing process alone, how SAP is doing the product lifecycle management and what kind of process they do to streamline the process. There is again a small video on this. Let's see that.
it's hard to find a solution that efficiently covers all relevant phases. When specialized teams use non-integrated tools, progress is often impeded by lack of transparency or even loss of information. SAP PLM removes these obstacles by providing an integrated solution for all user groups. Allowing close collaboration all along the process, SAP PLM also bridges the gap between engineering and manufacturing. Let's start the journey with conceptual design. The SAP Engineering Control Center allows you to comfortably work on technical specifications and designs. With SAP PLM, you can easily manage document versions and share them across your organization. Once you have your fixed concepts, start working on the detailed design. The integrated authoring tools allow you to automatically store, create, and manage all design and master data in SAP PLM. You can assign design and master data as well as visual files to the product structure, and this enables you to run sophisticated simulations like option-based validation. This way, you can verify the configuration of a product in a simulation that takes different variants into account. When everything is complete and in the right place, you're ready to hand over to manufacturing. Direct access to all design data enables the manufacturing planner to start production preparation. Thanks to the visual context, it is easy to create the routing and manufacturing bill of material. From idea to production, set your project on the right track with SAP Product Lifecycle Management.
Thank you. That is again an interesting video, right? So that will show. The video which clearly showing itself descriptive, right? So how a project is started by nicely collecting the documents, how they are organized, and how they are modeled, and how they are being issued to the production to start the manufacturing. So that is one small process in the product lifecycle management, but still that is very streamlined and effective. So that is how SAP work. Like this is one example for the PLM. So similarly for each and every applications, SAP have this kind of automations and a nice streamlined structures and good integration that will help us to deliver good stuff to the customers. So now, as I said, we'll see what is HANA and what is big data. So now I remember the computer system architecture that we studied during the college days from Andrew Tannenbaum. So like that we studied, right? So what is the single tier architecture, two tier architecture, three tier architecture, and also so SAP is going to be a 3-tier architecture where it has a database layer, application layer, and a presentation layer. So SAP is an R3 architecture, but SAP, when they initially formed, they are not a full stack application because their database, what they use is not from SAP. So they buy database from Oracle. And SAP, when they introduced, they have only the SAP GUI system, which is a system which is very heavy weighted, and it is not web enabled. So SAP don't have that initially when they deliver the applications. So later, then they realized the importance of web-based applications. What SAP does is they tied up with Java using JavaScripts. They enabled all the web-based applications. So SAP was not a full stack application. So being such a big company and multi-billion-dollar company serving customers across the world, so SAP need to think on how they become a full stack application, and that is the outcome of that. So they started giving a new tool called a new database called HANA, and also for the web-based application, they introduced SAP WebDyn Pro, and SAP Fiori. So now it becomes all SAP applications, and SAP become a full stack application. That is, you don't have to relay anybody for your database. You don't have to relay anybody for your application, and you don't have to relay anybody for your presentation or even your web-based application. So everything is now SAP. And that is how the integration works well as well, right? And to talk about HANA, HANA is a new database from SAP. It is not like other database. Like, I mean, when we study about the database, we would have studied earlier that database is a column. I mean, row storing technology. Each and every data is stored as a clusters in the database, and sequential access of database. So everything we would have studied it, right? So SAP broke that. So they came up with a new concept called row columnar technology. So they store data in columns. So I'm not going to talk more about that. Again, I'm going to show you the video about an SAP HANA database, how fast it is and how interactive it is. Let's see one more video.
Why SAP HANA runs faster? The demand for in-memory technologies is still growing, and new hardware are becoming available for most data management solutions. And SAP HANA, being the leading in-memory database, can increase data processing speed by thousands of times due to its ability to store and process all frequently used data in main memory. SAP HANA takes advantages of the latest Intel Xeon scalable processor and Intel Optane DC persistent memory technologies, and fully parallelizes data processing to maximize the power of multiple cores and CPU system infrastructures. A traditional database stores data in hard drive and constantly swaps data between memory and hard drive, slowing down overall performance. The in-memory database fundamentally accelerates business applications. To better illustrate this, let's use the example of how an electronic car completely changes car design by taking advantage of rapidly developing battery technology. A traditional car stores gasoline in the fuel tank and transfers it to the car engine through a pipe, and gets burned in the cylinders to transform the energy and then distribute it to the axles and wheels. An electric car applies electric power on the motor directly connected to the wheels to transform the power into motion immediately, resulting in a better experience. Just as the electric car improves driving experience, SAP HANA runs faster by accessing and analyzing all data directly in memory with less data swapping and higher parallelization to provide real-time business insights.
That is again a nice illustration. So that is what the video is saying. So how SAP HANA is faster and what is the in-memory technology that they use. So normally a database is, normally an operation takes place, right? So the RAM, the computer RAM takes the frequent operations from database, keep it in the RAM, and then they work it, right? That is a kind of a classical approach. So now SAP has an in-memory technology, and now you have seen all this visualizations. So that is how SAP is differed. I mean, SAP HANA is differed, and the database is so successful. I'm again bringing back the same picture to talk about the metadata in this business process. So this picture shows, right? So what are all the daily operations that is happening in the manufacturing sectors. So that is not a one-day transaction; it's a daily transaction, and that is also happening in only one location. Let's take that we have a company which is having multiple branches. So my company has a branch in North America and Canada. They have one more branch in Asia. They have one more branch in Middle East. They have another branch in Europe. So everywhere this transaction happens, and there are millions of transactions happening every day, every month, and every year. So let's take that they do 1 million transactions per month or per company. They have 300 master data created for one location, 700 transaction data created for another location. So similarly, everything is happening across for all the locations. So see the flow of data that is happening across the one company and across all the locations. So that is called the metadata, right? So let's take that we have 5 million transactions per month. 7,000 master data gets created and 23,000 transactions happening per month. So everything is a data, and this data has to be analyzed, right? So there needs to be some kind of analytics tool, a powerful analytics tool that I'm sorry, there is a noise, a feedback. Any questions? All right. So there has to be some kind of powerful analytic tool to us, right, to give a good statistical data. Let's take that just the sales part alone. So there has to be some kind of sales chart that the top management want to see. So what is the sales for their month and what is their purchases for their month? It is not only the overall graphical picture. So there is a kind of so this is the real screen of how good analytical SAP tool looks like. It is also mobile enabled now. So see how graphical information is. So what is it shows how what is their operating profit, what is the headcount of their company, how many customers are there. So these are all real-time data that you can get on real time. So each and every transaction is happening. You can see those kind of statistical analytics tool in the SAP, that too in a very real-time mode. So so these are all some of the private data. There is also some public data, right? Like so people need to see the stock price of the companies. They need to see the net profit of the company codes. So the vendors and the customer growth. So how many vendors they keep on growing, and how many customers are coming to the company. So they have to have a break-even analysis. So the sales department need to know what is their average sales per day and per location. And also they have to know the department wise transactions, that how many crossover cars that has been sold for this month, how many SUVs that has been sold, how many sedans that has been sold. So these are all the data, the data statistics that the top management they want to see each and every minute or each and every hour, real time. So an analytic tool has to be so powerful and so intuitive. So for that, SAP has to give some kind of tool, right? So, and that too, it is not, it is good to have those kind of tools in cloud. So SAP come with a new module called SAP Cloud Analytics, or it is called SAP Business Intelligence. So that makes SAP as a intelligent enterprise resource software. So when we talk about cloud analysis, so today's business, they face challenges in all directions. As an overwhelming data is generated, it is very often very successful, a precious amount to improve productivity, right? So the employees demand more purpose from their work, bringing new skills to the workforce. So the competitors have all gained momentum as well too. So the companies did not expect exceptional experience in alternative choices, and they face many challenges as well. So when they face challenges, so many questions arises, right? Like, how can we innovate for tomorrow or for running today's business? How can we aggregate insights to create the best experience? How can we access and derive value from all our data across increasingly complex landscapes? How can we keep up with the emerging innovative technology? How can we respond faster to the changing needs? So all these questions have to be answered if the enterprise have to be very intelligent, right? So to plan for the future, we must definitely look at the past. So how industrial automations happen in 60s to 70s, and then they got developed into business process automation, and those processes are developed into digital transformation in 2000s, and now we are in the era called intelligence. So technologies like artificial intelligence, hey, I'm sorry, somehow got disconnected. Do you hear me back? Hello?
Yeah, you can continue. Yeah, you can continue. Yeah,
Thank you.
we can hear you.
I'm
You can
presenting my
continue.
screen.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm presenting my screen. Yeah. All right, so now we are in the era of intelligence. So our enterprises have to be very intelligent. So, so there are so many technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, analytics. So all this blockchains, so all these things are becoming mainstream vastly nowadays. So that makes the enterprise very intelligent. So what do we mean by intelligent enterprises here? So intelligent enterprise means we effectively use the data and technology to choose the desired outcome with faster and less risk. And it is also very important to respond our individual needs, right? And also there has to be a way for engaging talents in the new ways, and there has to be a creating disruptive business models to support all this intelligent enterprise. So to achieve all these things, SAP have an option, and they introduced a new tool called the SAP Cloud Analysis. So I'm going to show you a small demo now. So this demo is on the SAP Cloud Analytics. So we will see a 5-minute overview of the SAP Analytics product and a small demo about the tool. So this is the basic customized home screen of SAP Analytics, which is launched in the cloud platform. So when I say customized, this screen is configured for different perspectives. So this example is what I'm showing is a customized screen from a sales perspective, leveraging business intelligence and planning. So the top right corner where I'm highlighting, that is called the collaboration tool, where you can share or demonstrate the product and collaborate. And then comes the help center, where you want to know about the product features, you can reach there. Then comes the notification center, where any actions that you need to be processed, any personalized messages that can be customized here. So in this demo, now we will see how we can create a model and see the beautiful visualizations. So we are going to import a file from the computer now. This is a demonstration how it looks like, the cloud tool looks like. So we're going to import a file. This file can be anything like your normal Excel file. So this Excel file have a content of data. Like let's say that we have a sales data that each and every month I have a sales data to be generated, and that is being loaded in an Excel file, and that file is passed to this tool. So now you see all your data in one source. So there are two different dimensions here. The qualitative dimensions, which is on the left side, which has the qualitative data like what product categories and such like that. And now the quantitative dimensions, like you see what are the quantities and the sales revenue source. So now we can see the data is clean. So let's go ahead and build a data model around it. So now we are building the data model. So once the data model is created, so we have the ability to create hierarchies, units and currencies, dimensions, aggregations, and formulas. So all these abilities we have. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and save the data model. So once the data model is saved, now I'm going to create a story. See how I'm going to create a story here. So when my story is created, I have options to export my data now. So now I can see the sales revenue data. See, and from the sales revenue data, I want to see the sales manager data and what are all the figures of each and every sales manager's data. Intuitively, you will see beautiful chart analysis, which is automatically suggested. So when that is being shown, let us copy this and we go to the campus page and begin building all this beautiful visualizations. So with SAP Analytics Cloud, we have the opportunity to collect data sets from various cloud applications and also on-premise applications. So here in the screen, I can control companies, and my employees travel between each headquarters destinations of the company. With that, what I can do, I will apply my linked analysis. I can also link my story, and by applying filters on a single story, now I can apply to the entire dashboard of my company. See, when I applied it, now you can see all the other charts related to the filters are updated. So now I have an overhead view of which employees and which regions they travel, and you have all control from being a top management, you can control all these things, and you have a nice visualization. And this is all in cloud, so you can access this, and this is all security and governance implemented. So that is how an analytic tool have to be looked down. So there is also a drill down functionality. You can select the chart and dig deeper to see the development department of the company in Vancouver. That's how it's being shown now. So now we can go beyond traditional business intelligence of the ability to discover, visualize, and plan and predict using our data. And that is done by over 40 years of experience, analytics, and high security standard tool called the SAP Analytics Cloud. All right, I think we are at the edge of the session. So let me conclude here. So that is how SAP. So as a summary, I will say that SAP is a powerful ERP tool that is well integrated, and it is suited for all the industries, I would say. That's it from me for today. Let me stop presenting. All right. That's it from me today. So thank you. I would first of all like to thank you, the Karpagam College of Engineering Management, and all the staffs, especially Murgeshwari ma'am. Murgeshwari ma'am is my teacher. I mean, I studied with him when I was doing my master's with her, and I was doing my master's. So thank you, ma'am. So this is my contact details. You can contact me in my LinkedIn, and that's my number and email. If anything you have, you can please feel free to contact me. Thanks everybody. I see nice comments of this presentation. So thank you all for all your encouraging comments. And if you have time to ask questions, I am available to answer all your questions too.
And participants, you have any clarification, you can get clarified. Is there any questions to be asked? Okay, then we can formally conclude this session.
Thank you for all your positive comments.
Okay, good morning. On behalf of Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Karpagam College of Engineering, I would like to thank Muthu Maharaja Selvaraj for accepting our invitation to deliver the lecture on 5-day faculty development program. The insight of SAP with the video are very informative and amazing. As a faculty or student, we all experience, that is, we have experienced and we know about the Oracle, but it's a newer thing for us, like Snap HANA as well as SAP Cloud Analytics. So the entire sessions are informative, and we wish all the best for your future and your endeavors. And participants, we can continue this session by tomorrow morning at 9:50 a.m. So the feedback link, it has been shared to you, and you can complete the feedback. And thank you for your presentation. And Muthu Maharaja also, thank you for your wonderful presentation. You have spared your busy schedule, has spared your time also. And thank you once again for all.
I appreciate your all your time as well, sir. I mean, thank you for all being with me and sharing your wonderful time with me. Thank you.
Thank you everyone.